abusunya mo bibia kwa ba na yemfa ombra Mega TV en platform we eso enche ye bia ene beto dwa se Madam Gertrude Torkonoo Anabasaki maame no the President of Republic of Ghana Yewura John Dramani Mahama was suspending no na suspension no anye ono nko anu so na ejina na mmom petition bi ebae anu mu chiremu a Yewura John Mahama engina sa petition ni so na omfa enyi maame Chief Justice Torkonoo edi emfi office na we na Yewura John Dramani Mahama esanse oni mpanfo na eye edwuma nti no opushi petition no edemane Council of State na mpanfo no so etena se hwemu na mo hwemu na chese 31 out of 30 no 30 out of 31 no na chese nipa 30 support se maame no yentwe ne sensan na asem ewo ne ho enti sisame no kasa die omo atwe maame no asensan suspension na we na Sammy Gyamfi in fact Sammy Gyamfi communications officer de ma NDC ono nso eda good board ano edi nsembi abetudwa ewo obi the show so na otiemu a we go into details reasons why amasa in suspension abamami so and even maame is likely to go home. I mean to be removed. Me person make asa bibiri yenko na yenko ti Sammy Gyamfi pra woni obi on Asempa FM ekosi sendwumadi nso nkoma twetwe ni sikwa meso document betum na like dwumadi na wa share na subscribe to the channel for latest update yenti nsem no bi yakoba e beto aso
Gyamfi Sammy akwa ba net sen
obi onyame adom enkwa wo ho ahoden wo ho tie de aseda bema no na Yewura John Dramani Mahama da Roma sunti ene obi adi ho adanse sa aban papa ba ama omeya nanka enyema aginsemu bibia aginsrepe na oman no nam kwan bonus a amanfo esi apene edi areho no ene enidaso aba. You can see clearly say this nation is on the right path of economic recovery. You can see clearly say Ghana is on the path of good governance. Inti ne ubisa se me ho te say me ho ye enidaso ho. Isan say aban papa ba enye mekuyi ba.
Ho ye based on the facts aban papa ba.
Aban papa ba on say Torkonoo aka say wo ye Pentecost asori penyi. Torkonoo aka se onipa papa be di omanso a oman no edide na se onipa boni be di omanso a omanfo ye den esi apene na emprempren mijitu na mnise Ghana for dodo aso na me yadwen wo hwe mpo nhwehwemu anche ye kra global info analytics aya edi adanse epefe se yenye opanyin pa owo mehu adwen pa na nyamesuru woni mu owo tema na owo ni so ade hunu papa mo mei a wodi enim no bu oman no in the person of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Na nhyehyɛ ya wodi agu akwa mu no ama oman Ghana efiri amandoko dunko a mfi nwotwe MPP amamu bɔ di ekohye mu ne mu enti enye se nyema ye Ghana nte se heaven. Still we are faced with a lot of challenges but even in the midst of that no there is hope because utimi wu say ensesa pa Ghana for dodo ato abama no we are beginning to see that change in our lives. Enti emede say oman no was atibia we mo and I'm optimistic say in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, the destiny of this country would have changed significantly in a very positive way. In ebedi ho dances ampa Yewura John Dramani Mahama wonimdi oye na unyame so kana ho na say eboa no a
yes
or the oman we be si baby papa
maybe after my first 4 months, which is 120 days in office now, we can have a conversation on how our mind akọ andamo but endeno in some SEC I was say di ho enkomo. One of the decisions said your mampanyi by and we take several decisions no the decision pursuant to the constitution say obe suspended the Chief Justice of the Republic. You made a post say sad decision it say or you bold now it's a fidelity to the constitution. other colleague lawyers have argued, say, this decision is unconstitutional. And I'm wondering where Unya's our conclusion is here, Sammy.
Okay, it will be that's it. I mean, chair at teach you NDC communicators across Ghana, media monitors, serial callers, texts, social media communicators, radio panelists, constituency communication officers and their deputies, communication committee members across Ghana. I mean, you'll be in Freeman across even our diaspora branches. Mechia will be ya domwase any ejumapa to what ejuma. Omobiro mumojeni eyeboa NDC and the Ghana mine. Obi. Nwanwa passe obi betumi ahwe decision John Mahama Ghana man penya take acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State say were two Ghana Chief Justice atemwafo nyina penyi watu na dia so watwena sen pending inhwehwemu a was a basuku a wate se omo petitions bi abafa ma me ne ho no omo beye ebe mo wa pa so bi be kase saa de na o mampenya ye no itia Ghana ya mamra 1992 constitution because right from the get-go Yura Mahama has religiously and strictly acted in accordance with the constitution right from the get-go. Also, Yura President Mahama nipa bibiri nim no. Ono ni Chief Justice ni asembia. Obi, ni Chief Justice ni asembia. President Mahama is a type wa obetimi ne town for kra to say didi. Obi onim ni obi abeka cho. He's not a vindictive person. He's not a vindictive person. Now say me who say weekend you call Easter.
Yeah.
Holidays na okochi Akufo-Addo and minim krofo mu hu one omampenye Akufo-Addo pictures or mu di nkomo straight as statesmen no they were not even happy.
Yes.
I'm saying go for mu nim President Mahama a man with no bitterness in his heart, a man full of love. Ubia nyamisuro ni mu no de odo ene nante na Ghana nkoso ne da na koma so. That doesn't mean that he's a weak person. He's a very decisive person. And when he has to take bold decisions like an EYNA, he will take the decision. But he doesn't bear grudges. And then I wouldn't President Mahama. And you know, and any Chief Justice was some pamo. But Ghana ya mamrana and nona a ye emrapong ya di bo men you know. Na Omampenyi Mahama was swai 7 January 2025 ewo Independence Square say eno no de bebu men yi no e hye ne se otusa na monwe oni choice na se President Mahama take decision we are suspended anti-Araba Chief Justice former Chief Justice meaning suspended Chief Justice. I think that is the right terminology. Enka President Mahama Kran he betime tunade so he could have been impeached.
But would that be factual?
Oh yes. So they go step by step. Step by step. Oh no. Obi men can be.
But that's what is
men can be. We lawyer say a binom say politics inti law must you in school mama to atwena don't follow them.
No, because you said can be not only choice so be suspended no. And I make say once you may
I will show you the make no.
Very well.
Constitution the second schedule. Your presidential oath.
Yes.
President Mahama swai.
Yes.
What is your oath of office? That's why Article 69 you bet me to Nadia. So good. And what is in that oath? Or say I John Dramani Mahama, having been elected to the high office of President of the Republic of Ghana, do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana, that I will at all times preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and that I dedicate myself to the service and well-being of the people of the Republic of Ghana, and to do right to all manner of persons. So this is the president who has sworn in front of all Ghanaians. And with the Bible said at all times, he will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. Now, Constitution, yana nanomo omotena se twere ma ye no wo munyansa mu omu sesi yi obi se wo ye judge,
yes,
anase oye chief justice je se course ahodo wo Ghana ne atemuafo wo Ghana nyina omu panyin pa e wo se ye bo ne ho ban na oye independent enye obi na be kire na adwuma,
yes,
because na adwuma a woye no ehia mo men e atentre ne ho adwuma na ye de ahye won sa na sa atentre ne betuma ye adwuma de a ene ye wo se wotimi di won ho na woye wadwuma kwampa so without taking sides, without being biased. Enti ama omo independence enam sentino chief justice o mampanyi ntimi nsori nka se ma yiwadi te se de obetumi ayi ni minister di constitution no de nhyehyeye bia to ho se chief justice ode ne ho, judge de ne ho, se yebe yi omo adi ana se yebe suspend omo a agye se ye follow emra kwan bi so en sa emra kwan no eno na ye provide no article 146 of the constitution. Na eye sa emra kwan no pepepepepe na omampanyi Mahama odi aye adwuma already obetena konwa so yi hwe ye wo MPP fo a Akufo-Addo ne power mo a besi ne omampanyi no otumi se ko betumi one day asore se mapam wo bi antimi si office. They don't have any protections, yes, under the constitution.
Yes.
Omampanyi no otumi se wotumi yi omadi at any time. But omumpo no Akufo-Addo nkrofo John Mahama is still working with most of them. Mebwana. Mebwa.
Yes.
That should tell you, say, Papa Wenyo Obia, he is on a certain vindictive agenda to sack opponents or people he doesn't like. Because omo what to me so betimi apamo omo by the stroke of the pen impo. Bebre. Eno na ya me party for no. Bebre. Because but they are make a show munyina ne say nyina ne to de bia nye yede go ye benya ga Akufo-Addo nkrofo nyina wapamo but ya papa Mahama ne so no sie na ade de bia odwe oman ne ho obi wo a ogusu ye bibibi onya nyenwe onka se ne party afira konwa so nti no
ba mayi bebre nso adi.
Oh yes,
yes,
saa so na ebisu wo ho a national interest nti o se montra ho kakra enye empedodo se no wo musa ade ni bi se mampanyi bi di ade na. I don't want to say certain things because what you say, but I just cited this example to let you know say mampanyi Mahama nyobia obaye ne se kan na de ko ho a opam obi a woni na ban mu na obi a won na se ma na obi ono ne wo manso, but constitution no was twice or the be adwuma so busu a itimi kura tu na de so. And what does the constitution say? Constitution say se Ghana ni bia na obi wo Ghana no free say chief justice was see tu na de so a e was say or the petition koma omampanyi petition no ni nyina so e was say fa enyema mienu ho stated misbehavior and incompetence. Say chief justice no omo number onim na dwuma wabon sebi impreduasa ana say onye na dwuma ye stated misbehavior no ene me nwanwa say lawyer MPP ni ane ka say omunim what is stated behavior obi say kwese ya ka stated behavior oni
what does it constitute?
He doesn't know and he's a lawyer. He doesn't know and he belongs to the MPP.
No, but why are you asking?
Obi na me person me cost step by step but my start it.
Okay.
Untie on fa pen untie. Look, article 146 no enye nne ye be use e ya pam obi.
Yes.
Banodania or electoral commission ono so wu tu na de so follow the same article 146 na enche kra na maami bi eda electoral commission ano ye friend no ye maami Charlotte say okay no na MPP for me am a law lecturer share me evidence or MPP ni mu MPP mu chuchu mu chopa and the petition come on penny Kufuado say
or they call ne clients and the share so on fa petition
on fanko ne empamo Charlotte say enti asem no petition o man penny gia e was all the come chief justice some no they know ye chief justice justice so fire Kufu anameboa
yes
chief justice no or determine whether a prima facie case has been disclosed by the petition to remove Charlotte Oseno, or defining what is stated misbehavior. Anti lawyer yes, anti stated misbehavior as provided for under Article 146 as a ground for the removal of the Chief Justice or the chairperson of the Electoral Commission or a justice of the Superior Court, has been defined by a former Chief Justice. I mean, kind definition in Chile. Okay, good. This is how the Chief Justice defined stated misbehavior. Or say, Obi, just 1 second. Let me just get the right document for you.
Asempa FM.
Okay, good. I'm here. To my mind, I'm quoting verbatim. To my mind, this means that if a person is required by the law to perform a specific official function or duty in a particular way, but fails or neglects to do so, then the person may be said to have misbehaved in that regard.
Yeah, but that would be an orbiter, is it not?
No. This is the ratio for her to have come to the conclusion that the petition for the removal of Charlotte Osei disclosed a prima facie case. Now also defining what is stated misbehavior. No, say petition in miti on the face of it. There is a case to answer. It meet that definition of stated misbehavior. So this is the meaning of the two stated misbehavior. Also, to my mind, this means that if a person is required by the law to perform a specific official function or duty in a particular way, but fails or neglects to do so, then the person may be said to have misbehaved in that regard. And the man can say what is stated misbehavior. Your precedents are defining in line with the same Article 146. And dear Nama Nugusu, I made sure and say Article 146 and they said, dear, well, person your two chief justices are there, so no. On for petition, come on, penny. And in so you stated misbehavior or incompetence. Or that decision, you define incompetence under Article 146. Now, on penny, petition now. Only Council of State, Yaka Council of State, I wouldn't a quote Ghana. Penyinfo ebi ahemfo akese a yato abayi omo se omo ye penyinfo a omo wo nyansa nti omo nkotu o man penyinfo omo nya ndisi omo nya mpp e na omo te ho e wo so man penyin ni omo dwen ho se kwadu a ye de abo chief justice no on the face of it no abawom ana abanim sa abawom a akanfo ka sa abawa asem bi mu a na je sa asem no just say ye bunhwehwemu prima facie ya ka nyina na de na kire enkire so obidifo ana obidi bem de kire nyina ne se kwadu ya nipa kroi ni nkro ya wabeboyi ene de ya bonu kwadu no so na no yi a wode abe wo hwa assembi wo ho e wo se hwehwemu ana obeyi ano ana prima facie ni nyina no the president na nyo no nko na take this decision no on the Council of State ya mpanyufo kuku da yi nyina wom omunya ndisi omunya mpp na kwotena se no ko tie omafutuo ni omadwenkere owi a ono so do na de ato ho so hwe na asem na ba wo mu a na wo se ye mu hwehwemu a na afeedie wa refer asem nyo no mampanyi ne behwehwem e de akoma ba so ku a nipa wo mu ye enum 5 member committee
no man penny be put it together.
Now committee ni mu mienu e was omoye justices of the superior courts.
Yes.
Na emu miensa de omonye lawyers, omonye members of the council of state, omonye mrasibidwafo. Into ordinary Ghanaians miensa. So on say na constitution omusi twere no na omo na be kwa kwotena nsem no so adomu asokwa tie obia no ayo omu hwehwemu na omo de omo decision aba say chief justice no yentu na de so anama yentu na de so ejo mampanyi mama betena konwa so wonka bi hyem maami aye ka ne ho asem chief justice eye Getru Torkonoo omampanyi akufu ado penso mpo petitions bebre ba say yentu na de so enye president mahama ne ba ya na obi di petition akoma no mebo ana.
That's true.
From President Akufo-Addo Breso, petitions will be all cry anti Wasem.
Saying what's our Wasem?
No, when the president makes the prima facie determination, whether positively or negatively, he must communicate it to the petitioner. In some cases, they were ignored. The petitions were not even acted upon. Yeba be fra banwa Professor Kwaku Azande ba akoko na omampanyidin na no yeba se wahwehwem ababi animu a ese fata se yekohwehwem. But there were several petitions for the removal of this particular chief justice, even under the MPP. President Mahama Baye ya miensa, enye ba ko miensa. Now nkrofo mo the petition na konobi. These are not even politicians. Nkrofo what dey na yebedi nkomo. So almost say process na ni say you pick. Yen kana bonten, yebe kana bonten so.
Ba o kana bonten so are you are
na me president.
Minkasa way
to said your MPP voting me ko intercept petitions e de beto abonte no.
No, said there are rumors as
me dey rumor. Getru Torkonoo, suspended chief justice. Na no year to all the petitions have intercepted it.
You have intercepted.
Oh, I've intercepted. And you can once more.
Now, do you have the petition itself?
Oh, massa. Media me say the free anti-Getty hono, anti-Araba ho. Eba mampini mahama on a new run am intercepted into meaning be a woman. And now bet was some more. Obi, tell me, sir, encrofo your petitions now kono. Encrofo omo do Ghana omo hu se ma me na ye bibia tia Ghana mra. Na eni se chief justice yes sir. Encrofo ma me na nkasa wode ntanchie di omo ya. Utie bi asem a wo betiti ni suo. Entenchia
ye as a sole judge as a president of which
tie entenchia wo dia di omo yes and omo this petition yakomo mampanyi mahama say boy me na mitimi baby me ibu mi mai na we amakofa be council of state mampanyi ntimi nkasa o. Nobody is above the law. The chief justice is not above the law. She's under the law. Article 146 here clear. Petitions back for the removal of the chief justice. I was free. As to whether or not as there is a prima facie case to be determined. The president follow the law or Council of States or the petitions Council of States. In fact, also permission from the Council of States and Sakwan offer where the petitions now I'm the Chief Justice at the time. And Sana Chief Justice Edina nu ye den ye di kan ba. And Sana also what the piece to supplementary response. Also di bia den abeka ho. No man permit J response ni nya the Council of States. Council of State Kotenasia omo ye 31. Emumu aduasa 30 of them. Say mami baby they are okay they adwuma enye ye petition we dia bawo papa nipa 30 out of 31.
How did you know?
Oh, Makacha Opa, go and do your checks. Me see my intercept 30
voted for
ahemfo akasia che say unto be omonya politics impo me pesa go ti ade bia say because MPP for no kasa they talk as if say obi mpe ma me na say na politics inti masa udi bone na ukruwa ye ma na ukruwa ye ma wo
omo kasa because of nsema amu kan in opposition say ma me we dey ye ba awoko
na NDC ni bia file petition NDC ni bia file petition NDC jo ma na say General Mosquito na Sammy Gyamfi na General Secretary of NDC ko gina he fa na ye ka say ye ba ma me ne beko ye gina he ne ka za ye me petitioner me the petition akọ say ye mpa mo ma me araba na omo amami di ntanchie di omo ni to obi o ka omo kasa bo ahwo musu say ye ahwo mu yem say ye mo omo sambre omusu because this Chief Justice is a demigod and above the law. Na say why ye bibi no obi nim say tia Ghana mra. Ye ntimi invoke the constitution because ono we special and she's above the law. Is that what people are saying in this country? Are we governed by the rule of law or the rule of the Chief Justice?
What people are saying is because she occupies a very critical position as the head of an arm of government. If a petition is sent for a removal, the grounds should be solid.
Now, who name the grounds of the petition?
Also, intercepted.
Okay, me back. What's the grounds should be solid? It will be answer na meka de minim no. It will be so chere say Council of State nipa 30 ahemfo.
Yes.
Akuku dan lawyers.
Yes.
Enti omunyina mo tan your Chief Justice.
Are they all lawyers?
I know,
sir, the former
Chief Justice don't have to be lawyers. I said, lawyer,
but establishing prima facie, and
but must you be lawyer?
No.
Prima facie, Nietzsche saying, determine say on the face of the petition and the allegations contained therein, there is a case to answer.
But there is a reason why the Constitution said, say, because at every point in the ABA, president be a lawyer. And the president alone cannot do that determination if he's not a lawyer. Until then, fall on the Council of State. Because
the reason is not because of lawyer. No, it's not because of that. The president has a lawyer, the Attorney General, who is a lawyer for the government and the president. The Padia president, he gets advice from that. Until the reason why the president must consult. The Council of State is not because the president may not be a lawyer, no, or because the Council of State will have members who are lawyers, no.
But if you
hold on. You go step by step.
Said
there is a prima facie case. Mameno asem.
I also
Yanka say wodifo. Yes, or was someone. It was a day.
Nipa one na one vote for no. A former Chief Justice ana.
There be minim.
And they wouldn't why intercept
minim unimaka obi e Canadian and now person change akonya na be count there me dem see nipa 30 ni nyina ntimi nya ndc for nipa 30 ni nyina ntimi time Chief Justice nipa 30 ni nyina ntimi nya people who are just pursuing a partisan end. You hear my point? Omo nyina say asem na what hwehwem mo krono na wudru kejeti ane e pam kronfo udwane ayeden yenka se wudifo yesi ye ba be hwehwe asem na se ye ba hwehwe asem ni mu dia constitution no sanso kano article 146 was say
yes
e was ye yi sa nipa num na meka ho asem no yenya yi omo a Council of State no mo ne tu o mampanyi mahamafo no
yes
o mbetimi atu nufo so o mampanyi sesi aye fitin hwehwemu yase Chief Justice no manentranchen tunu sinsen na ye di asem ni wi a waye den wabeto na dwuma so obi de ntia ewu hia se yetimi onim se omo mtwe constitution omo nim nyansa hwe ye ka so bi Chief Justice a adwuma wo ye na nya adwuma keto o apart from the adwuma wo ye as a judge presiding over cases in the Supreme Court no ono na or the overall administrative oversight over the judiciary. Enti cases are ekoka judge ben na wose okoye adwuma wo ha wan ye transfer no wan ye fa na adwuma case we wose ko ha registrar for asem clerk so omunyina ahye maami ase na wososo na wokotwe manso yi one kasa petition ni ba ye no what the response ba akọ what's also the supplementary response I had akọ na just one kasa uji to me say asem bi wo we say we dey we ya no to man penyi mahama ni Council of State say ye pese ye ma time araba na wa mre tranche untumi nye Chief Justice na wo ye adwuma hia we ene ye se committee frɛ echina ye say wo ba committee na ye nhwehwemu fa asem ne ho no onya time no wa ye adwuma no she will be distracted on your time enti Chief Justice adwuma no ebe kofom kofom wa ebe affect attentrene adwuma yiku na wo Ghana no enti na adwuma na wo ye ni is a very busy job na ye mpeso beka se me combine adwuma mienu nti me nya time bo kra fight case no at the committee ene mo mani nko gina nchen na president Mahama no na want to be nya the peace of mind the focus na on fight case no na se odi bemu a on convince committee no omaka so odi bemu a abeto na adwuma so problem bi ani ho odi fo so a na committee no
ne be
ebu abono
na omampanyi ya
ye tu na de so nti say ye tu na de so ya twe na sensen ye say kwotena nchen na nya time focus on hwehwemu no because one kasa kra no udi kan in 7 days at the response by kwansima na osan so de foforo by na just won sempa wo ho a e wo say ye ma wo mere
na utimi ede ni nyina
edemba de to so bienu so nti a suspension we e ya de papa ne mani age ne say and someone Council of States any omampanyin ediama sa basuku no so munhwehwemu no eye kwadu a ye de abo chief justice no ebi eni enyan obi ebi asefem na ebi border on allegations that the chief justice has falsified court reports, such reports of the Supreme Court. Into obia yede kwadu sa abono no e kire se eyampa if proven to be true and ye na or the ability to even interfere with the ongoing investigations should she continue to stay in office. The nature of the allegations against her no border on alleged falsification of court documents by the Chief Justice. So how can such a person how can such a person be allowed to continue to stay in office? And that's all better empowered with evidence just to cover her tracks. And the young person will be a katasu muaso and na asemwa ba ye kwa no kwatranchen. Obis one who say what decision of John Mahama to suspend my minimum. Man the time no to focus on her defense. So now face so manem kwatranchen no wantimi amfa ne wan koye katasu muaso bia because no kure no ene ye den ye pe Ghana mamra no ye pese ye sum na mate se me ba no
into on that score no mani musa afi the two questions flowing from this. Number one earlier many of my hini edi we hu common lawyer Maxwell Opokwadima na obo ni dey nyina o chair in law of evidence or school of law no e the message but you know say na ono ye lawyer e the petitioners against Charlotte say oka say I say legal thinking shows that a prima facie doesn't equate to guilt. We've made that point. I believe the CJ will marshal all the legal arsenal to fight on her behalf. Let me state here and now that when people draw parallels with Charlotte Osei, they forget that the then president didn't suspend her even after prima facie and notwithstanding protest from the lawyers of the petitioners. The president then, though I disagreed with him, was of the firm belief that suspension was not politically wise. So the petitioners had to battle with their boss, who stayed in office throughout the proceedings.
Obi, I know you're Kufuado taking the decision. We President Mahama taking the decision. You see, Council of State, the allegations against Charlotte Osei and Gertrude Torkonoo are not the same. Charlotte Osei was not accused of falsifying any document. Gertrude Torkonoo has been accused of falsifying court documents. I'm going to explain it to you very soon. And say Yampadia, if true, say, oh, you're dangerous. She should not be anywhere close to the seat of justice.
Oh, you're dangerous.
No, if true, if it is true, there, or you're danger. I was saying, who know you done? Oh, where do you want to be made can I say, Atemwo akumya no baby akra. Say you no cry. If true, or you're danger to the rule of law. But
an allegation of the breach. Hold on. In the case of Charlotte Osei, the allegations were on breaches of the Procurement Act. Breaching an act, you think it's not?
If you breach an act, was she accused of falsifying a document? Me say, "Mami, we are accusing to say we falsify court document." Charlotte Osei, you can say we falsify document, Anna. How can Charlotte Osei? How could she have interfered with non-compliance with procurement law? How could she have interfered with that? But where the matters in question are matters that the Chief Justice she can influence it.
My second
question. And I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you until the Nyanto was here. Then channel where your Chief Justice and some done so me say 3 petitions. Charlotte said there one petition. Wait 3. Now 3 petitions in the balcony. It is a charge sheet. You will count 1, count 2, count 3, count. And you only have more time. ohia concentration. Ejo mampenye se me boawo tranchen na timi, because this is a fight of your life. If indeed she wants to fight it, maybe may no aka throw in the towel and resign. Knowing what I know, ye kwasem we mu a enye papa mano. But say opeso okwa, she's entitled to that. Let her have a day. So let her have the peace of mind to do that. And let me put it on record, say, from the time our president in Saka petition to the time our Chilekwama Council of State seeking the advice to forward the petitions to the Chief Justice for her to respond. From the time we receive a response and the supplementary response and forwarding it to the Council of State, to time our Council of State a man on the advice say there is a prima facie case. No one wants to make it a decision. To the time of the committee, to the time of the suspension, everything has strictly conformed to the Constitution.
And that is where the issue is. I know the second question there, but Sammy, if you read Article 14610, the Constitution says the President acting on the advice of the Council of State.
So go slow. So it is not the President who just wakes up and say, I'm suspending somebody. He must act
on the advice.
No, not on the advice.
Okay.
You see,
in consultation
under the appointment of judges, he acts on the advice.
On the advice, sure.
But not in consultation. 14610.
14610.
In accordance with. So the language is very strong. 14610. Go there. In accordance with. The President acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State may suspend the Chief Justice.
Okay, until let me
in accordance with
the exact way.
So it is not on advice has been on the advice of the Council of State has been interpreted. It is permissive, it's not compulsory, right?
Sure.
It's not binding. But look at the way the framers couched this language. They knew what they were doing. Acting in accordance with. He's still giving a discretion.
Yes.
But it must be in accordance with
advice.
He himself cannot decide to suspend. But if the council tells him to suspend, he may or may not accept it. What do you say?
Yes.
But at all times, it must be in accordance with advice.
Okay. Inti Sammy Mamin kind and then I'll ground
14610. Yes.
It 14610.
Yes.
Where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the President may, in the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State by warrant signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice.
In accordance.
Good.
Yes.
This is the wording of this provision.
Yes.
But there is the President may. The argument has been made, say, may ne want to say a discretionary. Hold on, Sammy. Hold on. You are not talking to me. You are talking to the Ghanaian people in the trouble. The argument has been made. Said the may then means say a discretionary. When you move to Article 296 of the Constitution, a in the exercise of discretionary powers. The Constitution also says, and my exceptions mean, say when the person is a judge or a judicial officer. Then but say on your judge and as a judicial officer in exercising discretionary powers, it should be done in accordance with some regulations. The question is that the President is not a judge, the President is not a judicial officer. Where is the regulations are all follow to suspend the Chief Justice?
Obi, this question a disclose and yema.
Okay.
The decline say lawyer MPP lawyer Nina will make his argument. This is a very uninformed, illiterate view.
I didn't hear.
Number two, so the flow from this question is you be says argument when we nipa mu nyachompa.
I didn't hear.
You're starting free the entire say you're uninformed. This article 296C of the Constitution has been pronounced upon, has been interpreted by the Supreme Court of Ghana. Are you aware?
Yes. The
Supreme Court has pronounced on it.
Yes.
In the case of Ransford, France, the 2013 case, Ransford, France versus the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
Electoral Commission, a creative 45 constituencies.
Sure.
And at Ransford, France, a call Supreme Court to say, easy for a creative constituencies, Article 55 one and more must have power.
Yes.
Is a discretion. The Electoral Commission may. What do you say?
Sure.
Exercise of discretionary power, and therefore they should have published regulations.
Yes.
As required by Article
296C.
What am I saying? And some of me critique constituencies.
Yes.
The Supreme Court said no, speaking through that ban. No. That 296C in say anywhere discretionary power is conferred on somebody, there must be published regulations. No. Read it. Anybody listening to me, you can Google it. I just Googled, I saw a case summary. In the 2013 case of Ransford France versus the Electoral Commission, the Supreme Court ruled that the Electoral Commission had the discretionary power to create new parliamentary constituencies. Sure. The power outlined in Article 51 and power to create, which is discretionary. Sure. And 296C of the Constitution, which says, on your judge and a juror, now a discretionary power is conferred on you. You must do that in accordance with regulations.
Where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, there shall be published a constitutional instrument or statutory instrument, regulations that are not inconsistent with the provisions of this constitution or that other law to govern the exercise of the discretionary power.
And the way the Supreme Court pronounced it upon 2013 in the Ransford France case, it said that the power outlined in Article 51 and 296C of the Constitution was not limited by the absence of specific regulations. Was not limited. And the court says once the exercise of discretion is not arbitrary and is within the powers of that body or that person, publishing regulations in the young constitutional.
But how do you know?
So you should go and read that case.
How do you know?
So what that means is it is not in all cases, and I was say
there should be a publication
of regulations before you exercise discretion.
Yes.
And so you cannot be a lawyer and say once 296C says that to exercise discretionary power as a non-judge or non-juror, you must publish a constitutional instrument or statutory instrument and regulations. Once you didn't do that, you have breached the constitution. That you don't understand what you're saying. The Supreme Court has pronounced on that, and will be show how arbitrary this suspension of the Chief Justice is. How arbitrary is it? The Council of State Eddie Self-Tuonama president Edimani Ntiana Chief Justice and my man Kwenya say on focus on the Duma. You are suspended Nani Apamonana. On focus on the petition before the committee. Bonebe we crampon measures the Chief Justice or the one said that
argument to that say and lawyer Ewa makes the point the Chief Justice is the people's Chief Justice who go through Parliament of Ghana and then he becomes Chief Justice or be a Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. It should not so happen say on the whims and caprices of a president, obetimi suspended the keke. And Minister of Free said the regulation will spell out what is stated misbehavior, for example, and then to guide the Council of State.
You don't need. Who told you need regulations to know what is stated misbehavior? Now lawyers, Moya's argument way. Who told you? You don't need regulations to define words. There are canons of interpretation on how to define words. So who told you need to publish regulations and in the answer regulations in what is stated misbehavior? Who told? Is that the use of regulations? Regulations are not even used to define words.
Will be approved by Parliament.
Regulations are not even used to define words.
It spells out procedure.
Yes. So we went from the issue of regulation and what constitutes stated misbehavior. They all can so regulations spell out procedure. Then why are you saying we need regulations to know what the meaning of stated misbehavior is? In the case of Charlotte Osei, she was removed on grounds of stated misbehavior. Regulations as a
breach of the Constitution then should not justify a breach.
Where is the breach? What article of the Constitution has been breached? Show me one. Metive. What article of the Constitution has
been
breached?
His argument is that
who read 296C. And I've read to you Ransford France, the Supreme Court, the laws of Ghana, the hierarchy of laws, Article 11. State decisis, judicial precedent. It's a source of law. There's a decision of the Supreme Court. It has not been set aside. And that is authority on 296C. You don't need regulations in all. And yes, in every part of the Constitution where may is used,
there should be the publication.
We should publish. How absurd!
By regulation can be published.
How absurd!
To guide exercise of discretionary powers in general. No.
Yes,
that has not been done.
Massa, me say, is that provided under Article 146? Nobody says you need to publish regulations before you can suspend the Chief Justice pending a. BBS said you. BBS said you. 146 is clear. The President, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, may by a warrant under his hand suspend the Chief Justice. And it's not present here. We will say I wasn't a publishing regulation. Meanwhile, that article you are quoting, has been interpreted by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says that is not the meaning. And she said, "Baby, you better be discretionary power be and I was here or publishing regulations, and the absence of that regulations, does not void the exercise of that discretion." This is right, but Obi, yeah, quiet, Mami Siso. Said the President Mahama ayano me tu chairman no wa kire say wo ye nipa kukudufo no wa kire say even though he's not vindictive, even though he's a man of love, a very forgiving person, a man of no bitterness in him, wa kire say his fidelity, his loyalty is to the Constitution. If anybody was ever in doubt about President Mohammed's commitment, loyalty, fidelity to the Constitution, ni evidence ni. Wamaya who say Ghana will be a shemrase. Wamaya who say Ghana kabima mi kabia mamoya yebui. We are governed by the rule of law and not the rule of one person, and that nobody is above the law. Into Chinebino. I'm happy that that precedent has been set, and I'm happy that from the beginning, from Crane to Kankai, Papa and the Council of State edim raso pepe. Now obi no say no masuko. Share Dintia me because me the president cannot talk about, nobody can talk about this, and me I'm happy because I did not intercept the petitions, and there could be because Sammy Gyamfi ebe abainti no eno nyae. Where the anti-Araba ankasa responses on obi dum bie obi boa me na menya bi obi ensem the woman dey ani anyan omo
na response na ni anyan
response no ko ani anyan response no is more damning than the allegations. Response no, because in the responses of the Chief Justice, she clearly admits to stated misbehavior, clearly admits to unlawful conduct. Clearly, my example.
You are prejudicing the process.
Prejudicing what process?
But the process is about to start. He's now going to
make a committee. No one. No, tell me, and I assemble Supreme Court try and discuss the facts. And intimate analyze the facts.
The merits.
And we are not going into any merit. We are analyzing the facts. A man for say you cannot suspend the People's Chief Justice in an opaque process. It is we are shedding light. Opaque process, no. And yet, your mama ne pay and I also suspend the Chief Justice Obianti Mwasem. So our Constitution was kind 146, Article 1468. Now, lawyer, say you can't remove the People's Chief Justice through an opaque process. Meanwhile, the Constitution says you remove the Chief Justice through an opaque process.
That was established. I raised that.
1 year and 2. Hold on. 1 year and 2. Kind. 1468.
No. I raised.
One kind. No. Because you see, you have lawyers because of politics coming on air to throw dust in the eyes of people.
I will raise.
Just say, "Good President Mahama Hufi."
Sammy.
President Mahama never be Osuma say. That point, Article 146.
That point was made to him.
No. 1 year and 2. 1 year.
Yes, so we Sammy Gyamfi ensema on so edi odiato edwa. And Dibia Meka say Sammy Gyamfi Ayubia, he is a blessed to Andy Samanyukuno. Sammy Gyamfi, he is a blessed, and I say he's a blessed communicator, a senior member to NDC Amanyukuno. The Juma Dibia Dibiano. Panino how sikasa how we see church and semu, and how we use the legal terms. What him say a meet standard and a exceptional. Sammy Gyamfi mo any yo. Sammy Gyamfi why are there? Say with me a church him because Ghana for be anti name be a say. Fanche mi sad ye we and a milk for Adrabine anti me anya popular. I wechi and yama a jinsemu ewo Ghana. Say Kufado be initiative bibi, say Kufado be take decision be on something. Na aye obi fra ban mu ebeba abontin abechechi mu abema details ebeden say saade no ebekoso na wohwe hawa NDC amanyuko ya shase tackle issues from one angle to the other no, from one perspective to one perspective no, to the other perspective no, is superb and how they are tackling issues. I mean sensitive matters. So kaya Reverend Team for Joe confrontation president ni demano anyhow Felix Ofusu government communications minister oye okasaya eno na egbo ni hu a ema propaganda no wantimi anto aso bi wi akira yin na yehu se owrawi sa osofo no entro na oji na mum oni even entetia ni live akra as an evidence. And that is excellent and brilliant job from the NDC communications team. From the NDC communications team. And it is nice. And very good. So omo bo mo homodin. Eye pass omo ayiro mo omo eye sad no. Because adebi wonom na se wa me chechiri mama Ghana for ya ntiase a MPP for we no mu a omo mpe eye aban mu babio no. Omo de betin opposition na omo aye propaganda. Ebeto binum so asom because anye nyina na se bi ye wa konya ye tin nima bi ase yi even embrano how it works anye nyina na ye ti ase eti se asem bi se ba na se government spokesperson na se the machinery no amma bonti am becheche mu a ebe ha na ebe ma ban no so aye unpopular and it is good and it is better say Sammy Gyamfi aba bonti a wo chechire mu. And this is the reason why the Kachira MPP for say give the young ones what opportunity, give the young ones opportunity for them to what to survive on their political issues. Because how NDC ebaya omoma young boys appointments, I mean not young boys keke, na mum educated learned people with integrity, with excellent grade, excellent title. So excellent, and it is better send this for yes sir. Basa party ewo great future. Party ewo de great future. Basa party no de great future. And it is nice. Say niema ekosa. Inti yebebo ndi se manyuko na baso. It is omukan say elekelem, omukan say elekem anani dini say elekem kotoko. Dr. Amwako Hene, Malik Basintali, Erica J. You see, young boys, Mami, MFA Hardcastle. You see, young energetic people, and I do muye juma. And that is why MPP for will be finding it very difficult to capture power in the next election. Because NDC for strategy and a bedding, some be capture. I was informing Kasa Mama no Kobe Bray Namu. Mesro so this venture no best subscribe to my channel no. I will like our share now for because we are here to serve you the best of news. Yeah, I been saying semi be kuchi akobre mine. The baby some our platform eso because on my Ghana you no she say amanyosem no ya jinsemu I was in Median tomb na yɛka ho asɛm. Sɛ nka nyɛ Nyankopɔn na ehu yɛn mmɔbɔ ɛna ɔmo de NDC baeɛ a kasa mmerɛ NPP fo yɛ ɔmo atɔn Ghana. Nka me no saa mmerɛ yɛte yɛ kurom sɛ yɛyɛ nkoa. Ne nyinaa ne sɛ bosea amammuo bɔne ɛne sɛ bi kasa twitwie ɛbɛdan yɛn nkoa wɔ kurom a. But ɛnɛ you can see how smooth and how calm, how serene Ghana is. And then you can test to the fact that Ghana Ghana sheko nim kakra. Although Nancy tariffs so increase na ade. Yeah, aware and I've talked about it. But it is good than yanum brano muwo omutie kundwe iso. And he tells you that Ghana no ebe ye bio. Ne hia ne sɛ de no kwaredie na ɛbɛbɔ mpae ɛde atai NDC amayukuo n'akyi de biribi etimi akɔ so. Ɛba saa Ghana ɛbɛyie. Na Ghana yie nso a me no mmienu yɛn nso yɛ ho bɛtɔ yi ɛsan sɛ nkwan yɛ de nkwan wɔ hɔ yi ɛyɛ da ɛyɛ anata no ɛsɛ binom. Saa nso no kɔmfobɔ no bɛbɔ mpae sɛ kuro no ɛmbɔ no ɔba ma ɔno nso atena mu bi. Nti mo mayi na ɛnwishi Ghana well, yɛnwishi NDC government well. Na yɛn wish Yura John Dramani Mahama any nkɔfoɔ nyinaa well. Na ɔman no ɛngyina ne nan so. Na whoever takes over from John Dramani Mahama no nso bɛnya adwene papa. So ɔyɛ NPP side, so ɔyɛ NDC side, ɔno nso bɛnya adwene papa. Na adwene ɔman wie ho. Na ɔman no nkanko, ɔman no mpuntu ɛtumi ayɛ ne first priority. Biribi ɛtumi akɔ so. Abusua, Nyankopɔn nhyira. Bɛma me tie baafo. Nyankopɔn nyɛ ɔkɛseɛ. Ma me lɔyɛ bi Nyankopɔn nhyira. Obi ahwɛ Mega TV no. I salute you. Macro. Idiana Mega. Bye bye.